Hi everybody, my name is Zach Kaspersky, the owner and lead generator over at Noggin Digital Marketing, and today we'll be talking about the three pieces that make up the SEO pie. Now I know there's probably some SEO consultants out there, maybe some digital marketing experts that are watching this video, and they're looking behind me at this pie graph and they're thinking, wait a second, this isn't what goes into Google's ranking factors or how Google ranks websites in search results or Google's algorithm, or let's just stop all that nonsense right off the bat. I wanted to develop this video to bring some value to small to mid-sized business owners in St. Louis and to teach them and educate them a little bit more about what goes into an SEO campaign, what they can expect from search engine optimization strategies, maybe initially and then a little bit further in the long term when it comes to these links you see behind me, and focus on those things. So don't get caught up in ranking factors and all of that jazz. Let's just stick with these three components and break them down and try to understand how they fit into an SEO or search engine optimization campaign. So let's go ahead and get started. If you take a look at the graph behind me, we have three main components, as I said in the title, that make up SEO. You see links make up about 70% of an SEO's job, following with content making up 15% and site architecture with another 15%. We're going to work with round numbers here. I don't want to get complicated, as I stated in the beginning. Let's just move ahead and talk a little bit about how links play this 70% role in the puzzle in the pie graph. So links, what are links? Links are PR, they're online public relations. If you've been reading our blog, if you've been researching SEO any, you might learn that links are the streets of the internet. These are the little blue clickable text that might lead you to a different website, a different web page. They really tell search engines and humans a lot about how the internet is connected. And getting these links from highly authoritative sites, gosh, a site like CNN, or maybe a site even as local as SDL Today, getting a link from one of these sites to your website means that, wow, you must have some authority. You must be pretty credible if CNN or SDL Today is linking to your website. So that's what we talk about when we're talking about links and online public relations. We're talking about obtaining these connections between your website and reputable, authoritative websites on the internet. So that's about 70% of it. That's really the long-term strategy that goes into SEO, is how are you going to get those links. Next, we have content. So a little bit about what is content. Content is the words, the images, maybe you have some video on your website. It's really what makes up the main core of your website. It's what's on the About Us page, it's what's on the services page. You might have a little bit of company history or something on your website, so it's things like that. You might also have a blog on your website or some sort of way you can publish articles for your community, and that's another great way of creating content. So when we say content, we're talking about the things that you can share with your community, or those things that you can tell your community base about, your customers, or maybe you have some things on there that can help your clients, things of that nature, the things on your website. Lastly, we have site architecture, and this is really the nitty-gritty, the technical information, the back end of your website that search engines really look at and determine, what information is the most important, how are we going to index this information, and it really plays a big role in how search engines index your site or how they crawl your site. So we'll go ahead and we'll jump into a little bit about how you can improve these three things and what you can do to obtain more links, to get more content, and kind of clean up the site architecture if you're having some indexing issues, or if your site's a little choppy. So we'll go ahead and jump right in here. So links, how can you get more links to your website? Well, first, I would suggest creating content pieces to help your customer. When I say content pieces, these can be things that are tips, they're tricks of the trade. So if you own a flower shop in St. Louis, it'd be great to prepare some sort of a downloadable PDF or some sort of an infographic, teaching people or your customers how to do their own flower arrangements. Or maybe there's certain colors that go better with certain flowers than others. Maybe there are different vase styles or something that is more appealing for different times of the year or for different occasions. So it's really building these high quality content pieces that are going to help your community interact with your business on a deeper level. So once you create these content pieces, as you see here, create the content, and then once you do create them, I suggest that you do some online PR and some media relations to solicit it to the publications. This is what we were talking about. So if you were a flower delivery shop or some sort of a flower arrangement company, you may want to develop the tricks of the trade. So maybe it's a downloadable PDF, 10 tips to create your own flower arrangements at home, using the flowers in your garden, and then taking that, the downloadable PDF, and soliciting it to maybe STL Today, or maybe there's a reputable flower publication, maybe there's a craft publication in St. Louis you can go to with that content and say, hey, my company has developed this wonderful piece of content that is really going to help your readers learn more about flower arrangements and how they can do things in their own home. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to let you use this in your publication. What we're asking from you is to simply link to our website and give us a little bit of credit for all the hard work we've done. So this is what we call earned media. It's not paid for. You're not paying for it in any way. You're just putting in the labor and the hours to get these links from the content that you've produced. So we'll go ahead and we'll move on. So how can you get more content, and how can you get better content on your website? Well, the first thing you can do is you can write original content frequently. This is best if you have a blog or some sort of article. Maybe you have a feed or something like that you can write industry-related articles. Let's go ahead and we'll stick with the flower theme. So maybe you're pushing out content that's very original, that helps your customer base. Maybe you're writing content to tell them a little bit more about flower arrangements. Basically, you can write original content using what you've already done in the link in that big content piece that you prepare. So maybe it's breaking that down a little bit further and producing blog posts and articles and things of that nature to help out your community. Next, you can use keywords in your copy. So keywords that are valuable to your business are like flower arrangements, flower delivery shop, flower shop St. Louis. Using those sort of keywords in the content that you publish, especially in blog titles and higher up in the articles that you publish, using the keywords that you find valuable to your company in the copy will tell search engines that, wow, this page must be about flower arrangements, or this page must be about flower delivery and what I can do to get faster delivery times for occasions, funerals, what have you. So it's really writing original content frequently via blog, or maybe you're sharing things in the community. Maybe it can be context-based, more of a conversation. Doing those things and using keywords in your copy. Lastly, let's go ahead and let's talk about site architecture, some things you can do. I suggest pulling a web developer or maybe someone that developed your website aside here and really getting their opinion on some of these things. But the first thing I would do is avoid any Flash or JavaScript. Reason being, search engines are still maturing. They're still trying to learn how to index pages and things of that nature. And when you use Flash and JavaScript in your website, search engines have a hard time trying to find out what it is exactly that's on your web page. Because if your website's built entirely in JavaScript, they're not going to be able to read that information. The robots are going to go there and they're going to be like, this is JavaScript. I can't index it. It's too hard for me to read. So I would suggest using some simple HTML code, maybe a sparse JavaScript. Definitely stay away from Flash. It's really going to be best if you stick with HTML, some CSS, and you can make some pretty snazzy HTML-based sites using CSS and stuff like that. Next, just have a user-friendly site. Stay away from just the messy, cluttered websites. There's a great book out there, I think it's called Web Usability, Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug. He really dived, it's a really nice short read. It'll take you maybe about 3 hours. Go out there, get the book, read it. It teaches you a lot about user experience and website usability and things of that nature to really help your customers, and you can really help search engines by making things a little bit more digestible, the navigation a little bit more simple, things of that nature. Lastly, I would suggest using an XML sitemap. I know it's probably hard to read here. Just go ahead. XML. Use a sitemap, even if it's not XML. XML is just a language. It's like pretty much the simplest language out there. It helps humans and search engine robots alike. I would suggest using a sitemap to illustrate how different pages on your website interconnect and the relationship between maybe you have an about page and you have a services page. Humans can go to your sitemap and easily get to any page on your website, and that's what makes them so valuable to you in SEO. So again, a little refresher. We have the 3 pieces that make up the SEO pie. We have links, site architecture, and content. Again, those links, creating those high quality pieces of content for your community and then soliciting them to online publications is really going to get you far away in SEO. And I would suggest sticking with a web developer who knows HTML and a little bit about SEO and how that works. Again, my name is Zach Kaspersky. Thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you in the future with some more videos. Thanks, guys. Bye.